ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति देव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Let's chant the verses. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Param bhuyah pravakshyami Jnananam jnanamuttamam Yajñātvā munayas sarve Param siddhimito gataha Mama yo nirmahad brahma Tasmin garbham dadhamyaham Sambhavas sarvabhutanam Tato bhavati bharata Sattvam rajastama iti Gunah prakriti sambhavaha Nibadnanti mahabaho Dehe dehinam avyayam तत्र सत्त्वं निर्मलत्वात् प्रकाशकमनामयम् सुखसंगेन बध्नाति ज्ञानसंगेन चानघ. So from this third verse that we have quoted here, Lord Krishna starts explaining the nature of bondage. Bondage which is a product of ignorance. What does ignorance do? You said, ignorance in this case does two things. In Vedanta, they say that ignorance has two powers. In Sanskrit, these two powers are called avaranam and avaranam, which is the veiling, and second is superimposition. Avaranam vikshepa. In our simple example, where a rope is mistaken to be a snake, two things are involved here. One is that I do not know the object for what it is, I do not know the object as rope. Avaranam, meaning the true nature of rope, is veiled from me. Vikshepa, and where there is rope, something else is projected, namely a snake. Snake is an example, it could be anything. Different people may see different things. Somebody may see a snake where there is a rope. Somebody may see a mala where there is a rope. Somebody may see a stick where there is a rope. Somebody may see a crack in the soil. Somebody may see a streak of water. Meaning different people may see different things. Project, this is called projecting different things. Seeing or projecting what is not there. Not seeing truly what is there, and seeing or projecting what is not there. Understand this. In case of this rope snake example, not seeing what is there, namely rope, and seeing or projecting what is not there, namely snake. Something like that is happening in our case. This rope snake example can be applied to our own self. That I am born with this ignorance which has these two aspects, avaram, vikshepa, of veiling and projection. Just as that avaram or veiling deprives me of the knowledge of the rope in that case, here we are born with self-ignorance, where I am deprived of the knowledge of the true nature of the self. The true nature of Atma, of self, is Brahman. That is what the Upanishads reveal. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. The I is limitless. That is the true nature of the self. So what does ignorance do? One is, ignorance deprives me of the knowledge of true nature of myself, meaning that I do not know that I am limitless. I do not know that I am Brahman. I do not know that I am a whole and complete entity. I do not know that I am ever free. I do not know that I am ever liberated. I do not know that. And instead, I see or project what is not there. I see myself as a limited being. Whereas limitlessness is my nature, I see myself as a limited being. Whereas freedom is my nature, I see myself as a bound person, dependent, helpless, bound. Whereas happiness is my nature, I see myself as an unhappy person. This is how we are born. This is the ignorance of a self-ignorance. This is how Vedanta explains the reasons why we feel about ourselves the way we feel. I feel that I am a limited being. I am a needy person. I need help. I have a variety of desires. Each desire expresses a need. And thus, all this series of desires reveal that I am an incomplete, inadequate, needy person. This is my perception of myself. Now, in the rope snake example, the person who sees a snake in place of rope thinks that it is really a rope. He does not know that this is a projection or this is a delusion. He thinks that this is the reality, that in fact there is a snake there. And therefore, he reacts to the situation as though there was a real snake. Similarly, we are born with this conclusion that we are limited beings, that I am a limited person, I am inadequate. I have to become, I am bound, I have to become free, I have to become happy, I have to become successful. I am born with these conclusions. Said yesterday, this is the wrong GPS. And therefore, everything that I do in my life is an effort to try to become free, try to become happy, try to become successful. And depending upon what my perception of success is at that time, I think that I am successful if I am a wealthy person. Then that's what I try to become. I think that I am successful if my spouse loves me, my children love me, my family. That may be my definition of success. That's what I try. And that definition of success also keeps on changing. It is not a steady definition. It keeps changing. In different people have different definition of what success is. The same person also has changing definition of what success is. Therefore, different people do different things for being successful. The same person also does different things at different times to be successful. This is our life. But as much as all this endeavor of being successful, being happy, is all based on wrong assumption. What's the wrong assumption? I am not happy as I am. What's the assumption? I am not successful as I am. To become successful, become happy. And I struggle. Whole of my life is a constant struggle to become happy, to become successful. And there seem to be some moments of success or happiness. I seem to see them, feel them. Some fleeting delusions of success and happiness do come in my life. And thus, my conclusion that I have become successful seems to be confounded, meaning that that conclusion only seems to be verified. And thus my conclusion never changes. Meaning, I never learned from experiences that my conclusion that I am unhappy, that is wrong, and that no experience ever changes that conclusion. In fact, by a variety of experiences, that conclusion only seems to become more and more firm. And therefore, that is where we require Vedanta. Vedanta does not promise any miracle, doesn't because we don't need it. Vedanta does not say that, hey, you'll fly in the air and become successful. It doesn't give any definition of success at all. Vedanta does not give definition of success or happiness. It says you are success. As you are. Not that you will become successful when some horns will grow on your head. No, not that. Not that you will become successful when your appearance will change. Nothing. As you are. Swamiji, as I am, this 5 feet 3 inches, this kind of thing. Yes, as you are. We are entertaining variety of complexes about us, which are all nothing but projections, all nothing but wrong perceptions. So you will naturally ask a question, Swamiji, when I am limitless, why does this conclusion of being limited arise in me? What's the reason? When in fact I am eternal, not limited by time, why do I think that I am a mortal being? That I was born, I am growing old, I'm going to die, why do I feel that way? When happiness, fullness is my nature, why do I always feel that I am inadequate, incomplete, limited? When freedom is my nature, why do I feel helpless? Always begging for favor? Why do I find myself doing that? So Vedanta explains that. This ignorance causes a phenomenon called identification. That we discussed last night. That I am identified with what I am not. And with the example of watching a movie, etc., how we habitually get identified and feel momentarily I become somebody else. I become as though a character of that film because of identification, and I have the same feeling that that person has. Similarly, identification is going on in our life. Identification with what I am not, taking myself to be what I am not. As we said earlier, this body, mind, sense organ complex is my costume. I am the self, the consciousness, limitless, has put on this costume. That is called creation, that we discussed last night. The limitless putting on the costume of limited is called creation. Because only when the limitless puts on the costume of limited, then alone he can become the object of experience. Unfortunately, because of ignorance, the costume is taken to be myself. Like the actor takes the costume to be himself and concludes that he is the beggar. And suffers from the impoverishment of the beggar. For this person to suffer from the impoverishment of beggar, he doesn't have to be beggar, understand? All that is needed is the notion that I am a beggar. You see that? For having fear and palpitations and high blood pressure, that does not have to be a real snake. All that is necessary is a notion that there is a snake. So real snake and the notion of the snake, both of them create the same effect. A real beggar and the notion of beggar create the same effect. That's the reason why nobody is able to understand us. They take our feelings to be real. That I feel limited is taken to be real. I'm inadequate, taken to be real. I'm unhappy, taken to be real. And then they show you not only the world, but even all these religious traditions also show the means of becoming happy. Do this, you go to paradise, you'll be happy forever. You will have eternal dinner with God, or whatever the description of happiness is. Meaning that you are not happy as you are. It's taken for granted. Everybody takes that for granted. Vedanta is the only scripture which questions even our basic assumptions about ourselves. Vedanta questions everything. Just as the true scientist would question every conclusion. Otherwise, all these great discoveries of science would not have taken place. That Einstein and his group of scientists questioned even the very conclusion about the laws of Newton because they could not explain certain phenomena. They realized that they were not accurate. There are boundaries in which they can explain things, but not beyond those boundaries. So, just as a scientist would question everything to arrive at the truth, Vedanta questions the very basic assumptions of our life, which everybody else takes for granted that that's what it is. The world takes for granted that happiness is in wealth and name and fame, etc. And they will show you the ways of becoming successful. They'll give you different formulas. C, D, F, something like C means this, D means that. All kinds of formulas are given to you. And you think that, oh, you got something out of your $5,000, Basically not understanding what success is. Forget about them. But the reason why I'm saying is, not against anything against them, I want to show you the glory of Vedanta. Where Vedanta comes from. How the basic assumptions about ourselves are questioned. And also the explanation is given. The 13th chapter, Lord Krishna said, Purushaha prakrutistho hi bhungte prakrutijan gunan. This Purusha, the self, the whole and complete being, the consciousness, prakrutistha, on account of identification with Prakriti, the matter, the costume, takes himself to be a limited being. Bhungte, then wants to gain all kinds of experiences. Gunan gains different experiences and winds up in different embodiments. So that statement was made in the 13th chapter. In these verses, Lord Krishna explains in details what that verse meant. That we are, by habit, we identify with our costume. Identify with the body. And birth of the body is taken to be my birth. The age of the body is taken to be my age. The death of the body is taken to be my death. If with these conclusions, even though they are wrong, if these conclusions, I was happy with these conclusions, we don't care. Okay. Even if your conclusion is wrong, if you're happy, no problem, but I'm unhappy. Each of these conclusions makes me unhappy. Our Puja Swami used to say that this identification of the body, every part of the body creates a complex. When I take the body to be myself, then all my complexes begin from the head to the toe. Starts complex here. Whether there are hair or no hair, complex. If the hair is there, what is the shade of the hair? Complex. Hair is there, what is the density of the hair? Complex. Then come to eyebrows, come to the eyes color, come to lips, come to face, come to stomach, come to everything. Everything in the body creates complexes. I am so and so. Meaning, in each one of them, I am limited. And I just do not like myself. I don't like myself when I am bald, or I have grey hair, or I don't have this, my eyebrows are like that, my nose is like this, my cheeks are like that, my jaw is like this, my stomach is like this, my shoulders are like that. That's not enough. Then I become identified with the mind. Mind is happy, I am happy. Mind unhappy, like that movie. That fellow is happy, I am happy. He is unhappy, I am unhappy. Similarly, mind also is like a movie. Presents variety of moods before me, and as the mind changes, my conclusion about myself changes. So in this moment I am happy, mind becomes unhappy, I am unhappy. Happy also is a problem and unhappy also is a problem. Unfortunately, as I said yesterday, that I am a failure is a definite problem, but that I am successful also is a potential problem. That I am unhappy is immediate problem. But I am happy also is a problem. You know why? Because I am happy because of something. My conclusion is that I am happy because of something. That because I got good food, therefore I am happy. Because I had ice cream, therefore I am happy. Because the opera was great, I am happy. Movie was great, I am happy. My friend smiled at me, I am happy. My boss was kind to me, I am happy. But within me I know that this happiness is dependent happiness, meaning that it is quite possible that tomorrow my boss may not smile at me. Tomorrow my friend may not pick up my phone. Whether they do it or not, but this is always, this kind of apprehension that is always in my mind. Happiness is so dear to me that I am always worried, what if this happiness doesn't come? Today somebody asked me, Swamiji, there is always apprehension. What will happen? This person loves a child so much, always worried, what will happen? If something happens to the child, So when we are dependent upon something else for our happiness, for our security, for our sense of well-being, for sense of success, always an apprehension in mind. Will it remain or not? Because I know that what comes goes away. I know that. Will it go away? Trying to hold on to something that wants to go away. Life constantly becomes struggle. No respite. Therefore, we intoxicate ourselves. Since becomes difficult to confront this constantly, this constant struggle going on in my mind, you know what we do? We intoxicate ourselves. How? Oh, Swamiji, I don't even touch beer. What do you mean intoxicate? I never intoxicate myself. No, I intoxicate myself by keeping my mind engaged in a movie, in music, in games, in some video game, in some all kinds of distractions. They are all escape distractions my attempts to escape myself because I cannot confront myself. And the world knows that, therefore they will oblige you by giving you new escape distractions every 6 months. Because I get bored with the same thing anyway, because my mind wants variety, and therefore they are ready to oblige you. Everybody is making money at my cost, that's all. Of course, somebody makes money from him also, and nobody is spared here. That is a secondary matter. Nobody is spared. Somebody becomes billionaire, so what? There are somebody else, those exploit him. But he is in the same need. The sense of incompleteness remains whether you become a billionaire, trillionaire, or whatever year you become. It doesn't make any difference. Because as I said yesterday, the distance between a billion and infinity is infinity. The way the human being is trying to solve this problem he can never be successful. Whether you go to heaven, or go to Brahmaloka, Brahmabhuvana Loka, Punaravartino, Lord Krishna says, up to Brahmaloka also, which is the highest world, 7th heaven. You have to know, we are all experts in heaven also, not one heaven, 7 heavens. There are 49 kinds of hells and there are so much is there. People think of one paradise, we have so many. Nothing to be proud of, all I am saying is that, so what? Lord Krishna says, Punaravartina, you have to come back. You go to a 5-star hotel, stay there as long as there is money in your pocket, run out of money with a credit card, whatever balance you have, you are summarily discharged from there. They won't, when you enter the hotel, somebody comes for receiving you, picks up your bag, leads you to a hotel, and everything is fine. This is the room service, that service. When you stop paying bills, summarily, same fellow will take out your bag and put you out there. From heaven also, you are thrown. Again, it is immaterial to us. What we are saying is that we must understand the reason why we are feeling the way we are feeling, that our conclusions about ourselves are not right. They are a product of ignorance. So Lord Krishna explains that mechanism of ignorance, which is identification. So Lord Krishna says that our personality is made up of 3 gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. Nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. This dehi, the indweller of the body, avyayam is inexhaustible, is limitless by nature. Nibadnanti, this personality made of 3 gunas binds him because of identification. Nobody binds me, understand? Body does not bind me. Mind does not bind me. Even the 3 gunas also do not bind me. What binds me? Identification with them creates in me a sense of limitedness, and that is bondage. Meaning that I always have freedom to give up that identification. So that's why this is me explained. So personality is made of sattva, rajas and tamas. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam anamayam sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanaga. See the verse number 4. On the page number 9. Last night we saw this verse. Tatra, Lord Krishna says that while we are discussing these 3 gunas, what is the nature of sattva guna? Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam anamayam. Sattva guna, nirmalam. It is free from mala, free from impurity. It is pure in nature. Prakashakam, illuminating in nature. Anamayam, free from afflictions in nature. Anamayam, of the nature of ananda, free from sadness. Prakashakam, illuminating of the nature of consciousness that illumines. Nirvalam, pure or sat or existence, Satchidananda is what gets reflected when the mind is sattvic. Lord Krishna says, even this also binds you. Sukha sangena badnati, jnana sangena chanaga. Anagha. Anagha is the sambodhanam to Arjuna. Agha means papa or sin. Anagha, sinless. O sinless Arjuna. Lord Krishna addresses Arjuna as O sinless one. Sinless. So, how nice this is. Teacher is addressing the disciple as sinless. Arjuna, you are a very straightforward person. You are a transparent person. That's what Arjuna also means. Rujutvat Arjuna. Ruju, one is straightforward. There is a tree called Arjuna which is a straight tree. Meaning Arjuna is a straightforward person. No angularity inside. No kapatam. No cheating. No pretentiousness. What is inside is what is outside. And that's the kind of mind that is required for knowledge. Therefore, Lord Krishna points out, he is sinless one. Understand that the sattva also binds you by sukha and jnana, meaning that when the mind becomes sattvic, then we experience happiness. When mind becomes sattvic, we gain the knowledge. Swamiji, how does it bind you? That ignorance binds you in what way? By creating identification. When mind is happy, you know what I say? I am happy. When mind has knowledge, I am the knower. This happy is a result of bondage. No, we'll talk about it. Happy, I am the knower. Meaning that sattva guna creates in us this notion of I am happy, I am knowledgeable, I am the knower. Whereas happiness is the nature of mind. It is mind that is sattvic. When the mind is sattvic, it is happy. What do I say? I am happy. Who am I really? In reality, happiness is the nature of the costume, understand? And therefore, I am different from even happiness. Knowledge is the nature of costume, sattvic costume. I am even different from that. I am the witness, illuminated. We'll talk about that. Now, we go to the next verse where Lord Krishna talks about the characters of rajas. Sattva, rajas and tamas. Rajas means dirt or impurity. Tamas means darkness. Sattva means clarity. Rajas means impurity. Tamas means darkness. Okay? Sattva, rajas, tamas. Sometimes my mind is clear, sattvic. Often my mind is impure, rajasic. Often my mind is dull, dark, ignorant, tamasic. So let us read the next verse, number 5, in our selection. Rajo ragatmakam viddhi Trishna Sanga Samudbhavam Tannibadnati Kaunteya Karma Sangena Dehinam. So what are the characters of Rajas? Rajo Ragatmakam Viddhi. Here Arjuna, may you know that Rajas is of nature of Raga or passion. Really, Raga means coloring. Like you have this white cloth, you dip it in water, colored water. See, this is of course done not in a traditional way. But the sadhus in Rishikesh, they colored their cloth called gerua. That's the color of the Swami. So it's a kind of a clay of that color. It's dissolved in water. You dip your cloth, the cloth becomes colored. The white cloth becomes color. So raga means color. Our mind also gets colored by the objects and therefore develops attachment for them. Rajo ragatmakam viddhi. Whenever this rajo guna or rajas becomes predominant in our mind, it creates passion. I want this, I want that, I will do this, I will do this. Lord Krishna will explain. Attachment. Trishna asanga samudbhavam. The cause of Trishna. Trishna means craving or longing. Asanga means strong attachment. Sangha means attachment. Asanga means strong attachment. So whenever this Rajoguna takes hold of our mind, we find ourselves very passionate about something, having strong craving and also the longing for something, attachment for something. So Trishna and Asanga is explained. What's the difference between the two? Trishna is the craving, the strong attachment that I have. The craving that I have was something which I don't have. Two things we have. One is strong craving for things that we do not have. And secondly, a strong attachment for what we have. So what we have also becomes binding on account of strong attachment. I love my chair, Swamiji. When I come home in the evening, this is my chair, rocking chair, with a cup of coffee, with the TV on. This is my home. This is my special car. This name brand clothes, this name brand shoes, whatever thing that I possess, a strong attachment for them, and things that I do not have, a strong craving for them. That's what we have. See, the things that we have also bind us, things that do not have bind us anyway, by creating a craving. Because you walk around with a mind that is rajas. Oh, that looks good. That's good. I think it's nice to have. I think I want to have it. I must have it. That's how the Rajasic mind thinks. For what it does not have, I want this. Lord Krishna will further explain that. So and generally this is the nature of mind. Rajas is usually predominant. And therefore, we have a craving for what we do not have and strong attachment for what we have. Knowing that this thing is likely to go away, knowing that whatever is created is perishable, knowing that whatever comes is likely to go away, knowing that nothing is permanent, and still I want those things to be permanent. I do not want them to go away. Knowing the nature, still attachment makes me in fact hang on to those things, because I become dependent upon them for my sense of well-being, comfort, happiness. I can be happy only if I can sit on that chair. I can be happy only if I have this pen to write. Happy only if I have this pair of shoes. Happy if I have that particular car, my car. Happy, so the things that I have. What is attachment? Attachment is I become dependent upon them. And I cannot be happy without them. Therefore, a strong need that they should always remain with me, should never go away, because I know that if I do not have them, I will become unhappy. So it's called attachment with what I have. Now when you go home, make a list of what are the things in what I have without which I cannot do. Now this I should have, Swamiji. My spouse must be there, my child must be there, my home must be there, my this must be there, my that must be there, this furniture must be there. I can't do this. This is called strong attachment to what we have. This is bondage. Why bondage? Because that thing controls whether I will be happy or not. If the chair is not there, next day I am becoming miserable. My own shoes. This Sunday I came out of the class, disappeared. Swami's shoes, imagine. Mine. Of all the places in Gurukulam. I just became very upset. I can't do without them. Oh, it was so comfortable they were, and how light they were, and I was singing the glories of my things, Somebody brought me something else. No, this doesn't suit me. I should have known, being a Swami, that things that are there can go away. That you should not become so dependent upon them for your comfort that, you just have to hang on to them. This is mine. This ownership, all of this comes from Rajas. It's my thing. I call those shoes as mine. They never call them as mine. So one-sided relationship, isn't it? It's my shoes. The stupid shoes just went away. When somebody put them on, did not declare, hey, I don't belong to, I belong to Swami. They didn't say that. They just went away. And here I am, my shoes I lost. Before we even realize how we become attached to things. You buy a piece of furniture, in course of time you become attached to that. You buy a car, you become attached to that. By a given small thing also you become attached to that. Meaning that you realize that you need that for feeling good, for feeling happy, for feeling comfortable, for feeling proud, for whatever you want to feel. We do not even know how we slip into those attachments. It's only when you change your house after 15 years, you realize that when you moved into the house, you need only one small truck. Now you need a train, to move things. How many things you accumulated? No, this we cannot give. This, Hey, ma'am, what do you take? No, this I will require. This I will require. Then of course there is a garage sale and they ultimately throw it away. But the thing is, as our Swami was fond of saying, what is called progress? Progress is converting luxuries into necessities. Luxury comes as a guest, lingers on to become host, and stays on to enslave you. Luxury comes as a guest, car comes as a guest. Wonderful to have. It's a luxury. Hangs on and then stays on to enslave you. A time comes when you cannot do without that. It has become a necessity. What is luxury? Something you may or may need or need not have. What is necessary? You must have. What is progress? Nothing but expanding necessities. Meaning expanding dependence. Whereas 25 years ago, I just had a very modest job and I had only maybe 100 things with me, and so I was dependent upon 100 things. Today, big executive, big house, I am dependent upon 1,000 things. It is nothing wrong in having 1,000 things. It is being dependent upon 1,000 things. Vedanta is nothing against anything. Don't think that Vedanta is against house and money. Nothing. Vedanta teaches us a healthy relationship with everything. That's all. A healthy relationship. That everything should have place in your life, but you should give them the value that belongs to them, no more, no less. But we start giving values to things so much that we become without value. We devalue ourselves, value other things, and become dependent upon them. We become slave of them. So bondage just becomes, confounded, becomes stronger and stronger. That's the rajas. Trishna sanga samudbhavam karma sangena tannivednadi kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Trishna, meaning craving is there. That craving will pressurize me, drive me to do something to fulfill that craving, because I must have it. What is craving? I must have that. I cannot do without that. And that will drive me to do whatever is required to acquire it and possess it and own it. Asanga and a strong attachment to what I have also will create action. Formerly, this person was coming to class regularly. I knew that they were building a new house, and lately I don't see this person for 6 months. What happened? You're not, Swamiji, now we have a home. We have to take care of it. We can't leave it alone, these days. So you build a home and you get bound to the home. That's how we become bound to things that we possess. They control us. Bondage means being controlled. That's how. And that's against our nature. You all the time keep on declaring, I'm my own person, you are your own person. But the forager controls you. You always resist your spouse and parents and this and that. Resist these fellows. All our bahaduri, our valor comes before people. All these idiotic things bind me. Those things that I have and things that I do not have. Why? Simply because of the notion that I am an incomplete being, I am inadequate being, I am not happy as I am, I am not all right as I am. It is this which creates trishna and asanga. And both of them create karma or action. What about tamas? The next verse tells us. Tamastvajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasya nidrabhihi tannibadnati bharata. Tamastu ajnanadam vidhi. Arjuna, understand that tamas is born of ignorance, or tamas is ignorance. Mohanam sarvadehinam. This ignorance is such that it creates moha or delusion or wrong perception. As we said, ignorance of the rope creates the delusion of the snake. If it is merely ignorance, which absence of knowledge, it is not so bad. But when that ignorance creates wrong perception, then it becomes the cause of all the problems. Mohanam sarvadehinam, all dehis, all the embodied beings, all the individuals have this moha or delusion or wrong perception about their own self, and therefore we have wrong perception about everything else. Because my perception of others is based on my perception of myself. The way I look at the world is determined by the way I look at myself. If I am fearful, world is always threatening me. If I am a needy person, I always look upon the world as that which will fulfill my need. If I am looking for donation, I look at the world as only potential donors. Things like that. We look at the things based on our own perception of ourselves. Pramadalasya nidrabhi tan nibadnati bharata. This tamoguna creates pramada, alasya, nidra. What is pramada? Inadvertence. Alasya, slothfulness. Nidra, sleep. What is inadvertence? Says, Karyantara asaktataya chikirtisasya kartavyasya akaranam pramada. What is pramada? What is inadvertence? Because of my preoccupation with something, I fail to do what I am required to do. I am doing something all right, but because of my preoccupation with something else, I fail to do what I am required to do. Simple example, that this boy has to go to examination hall after 1 hour. He has to appear for the final test. What should he be doing? Studying, preparing for the test, is it not so? What is he doing? Playing that game. The handheld stuff, They keep doing tick, 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 tick. They learn like that. Take me 15 minutes, they will do in half a minute. He need not even look there. He looks at this. And so what happens is the teachers think that these fellows are listening to us. And here, he's texting that fellow. And his thing is underneath the desk, He does that. That fellow gets it. He does something. So these fellows are busy while they are sitting in the class. What they should have been doing is to listen to the teacher and learn what the teacher is teaching. Instead, they are busy texting, exchanging jokes, fun remarks, videos. That's what is happening. Meaning, it's not that he's not doing, he's very busy. Busy doing something different from what he should have been doing. That's called pramada. Alasya means what? Not doing what you are required to do. That I know the examination is coming tomorrow, I am supposed to do this and do revision. I don't feel like doing it. There's no motivation. No enthusiasm. Mom, I'll do it tomorrow morning. 4 o'clock in the morning alarm. Mom, I am getting up. He wakes up at 7 o'clock. Takes his own time. Gets ready at 8:30 and then he used to go to, for the test. Alasya. So this is what tamoguna does. Just drains away all our enthusiasm, motivation. Slothfulness, this inadvertence, keeps us busy with doing something which is a waste of time. Nidra, and finally you fall asleep. That's tamas. All of you may be familiar with this famous composition of Shankaracharya ji called Bhaja Govindam. And it seems that Adi Shankaracharya ji was walking along the streets of Banaras or Kashi along with his disciples, and he sees a very old man who is about to pop off, die any moment. And that old man is sitting on his veranda and is reciting something. It's curious, what is he reciting? When Shankaracharya goes near, he discovers that this fellow is reciting the formulas of grammar, Sanskrit grammar. What are you doing? You are going to die in any moment. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate. Oh, Mudhamate, oh deluded fellow. You should be worshipping Govinda, you should be repeating his name. And what is so wasting time, wasting whole life? So very beautiful verses are given here, just for your information. Durlabhasyavi chiratara sanchita punyashata labdasya apavarga prapto ekakarasya cha manushakasya vrutha ativahanam pramadah. As far as spiritual pramada inadvertence is concerned, apavarga prapto eka karanasya, this human embodiment is the most precious embodiment. Chirasanchita punyashata labdasya, this human embodiment has been acquired by us as a result of the punya, the virtuous deeds accumulated over thousands of lives, and we have gained this after spending a lot of our money in terms of our virtue. And apavarga prapto ekakaranasya, the human embodiment is the only embodiment which is fit for moksha and no other embodiment, meaning that the express agenda with which we are born as human beings is apavarga or moksha. Because this embodiment is the only embodiment that is fit for that goal. As far as eating, drinking, marrying, concerned, there are a lot of other embodiments, all of them can do that. If eating was the purpose of our life, we should have been born as a buffalo with huge stomach. What is buffalo? A huge stomach walking on 4 legs. That's what it is. But no, your stomach is small. If drinking was, there are other creatures who can do all of this much more efficiently than we can do. What's the purpose of human embodiment? Moksha is the only purpose. Of that, vrutha ativahanam, to squander it in useless activities is called pramada. Ayusha kshanam ekopi sarvaratnin labhyate. Somebody said that one moment of the human life cannot be acquired by any number of jewels. Any number of jewels also cannot buy for us even one moment of the human life. Sarvatha niyatena, and this life which is so precious, which cannot be measured by any number of jewels also, is just wasted away. Is called pramadi. Nidraya hriyate naktam, Srimad Bhagavatam says. This fellow spends his night nidraya niyate naktam, either in sleep or in sense gratification he spends his night. Divacharte hayarajan, and the whole day is spent only in making money, running after money, running after income. Kutumba bharanenava, or comes home and is busy with duties toward his family and stuff like that. Dehapatra kalatradishu atmasainyeshu asatsopi tesham pramattah nidhanam pashyanapi na pashyati. Totally identified with or infatuated with or attached to the spouse and children and this and that, and sees that the life is being wasted away and still does not see. It's called pramada. How human beings simply waste away their life. Kim pramattasya bahuvi, so many verses are there. I don't know, this tikakara on this, otherwise very brief, but on this he has given so much. Kim pramattasya bahuvi parokshi hayanairiya. What's the point in wasting away so many years without doing what is required to be done? Varam muhurtam vedam ghatare shre. That you spend even one muhurta, 24 minutes also, in fulfillment of your life, that is worthwhile than all these years which are wasted away in doing useless things. Pramada. Tamo guna does this to us. You know what happens? We think that is important, that is important, that is important. And what is important remains unaddressed. What is unimportant is given importance. And what is important remains unaddressed. So, pramad alasya nidrabhi dan nivadnati bharata. Thus tamo guna creates this kind of a situation in the mind and binds us. In next verses, Lord Krishna tells Swamiji, how do I know whether there is sattva guna in my mind, rajo guna in the mind, or tamo guna in the mind? How do I know? What are the characteristics of the gunas when it comes to my mind? When these gunas appear in my mind, what kind of vrittis, what kind of thoughts manifest in my mind? So next verse tells us this. Let us read that, verse number 7. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyad vivruddham sattvamityuta. So Ishvara has given us the instruments of knowledge and instruments of action. We have 5 organs of perception. The organ of hearing, organ of touch, organ of seeing, organ of taste, organ of smell. These 5 organs of perception are with which we gain the knowledge of the objects of the world. So these are called dwara, or the gates. The 5 gates are there, and behind each organ of perception there should be mind. For example, these words are being uttered right now, and these words fall on your ear, but you can hear these words only when your mind is behind the ears. If the mind is distracted, then even though the words are heard falling on the ear, we do not hear them. So mind also is the equipment given for knowledge. When there is sattva, so vivruddham sattvamityuta. When sattva guna become predominant in the mind becomes alert. All distractions are gone, becomes alert, becomes focused, and therefore all the knowledge takes place very clearly. You know the things as they are. With sattva, our mind saradvareshu, in all the gates of the knowledge, when prakasha, when the knowledge arises, when you see things clearly, understand that this sattva is predominant. So when the mind is sattvic, there is no projection. We see things as they are. There is what we call viveka or discrimination. Meaning that the impermanent is seen as impermanent. The permanent is seen as permanent. And that viveka is extremely important. So when the mind becomes sattvic, viveka arises. We start contemplating upon the very basic realities of life. As Upanishad says, Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmana nirvedamayan nastya krutah krutena. When the mind becomes sattvic, pure, it becomes contemplative. And it starts contemplating upon the very basic things of life. What is the purpose of life? What is it that I have done so far? Whatever I have done so far, where has it taken me? Am I any closer to the goal of my life? In spite of having fulfilled so many desires, in spite of having gained so many achievements in life, so many certificates are there, so many upadhis are there, so much is there. In spite of wealth, name, fame, recognition that I earn in my life, have I gained an internal satisfaction? Am I a more satisfied person than what I was 25 years ago? When I started my career, which was very modest, an entry-level job I had, very modest income, a small little apartment, and I was traveling in public transportation, and that kind of, whatever state of mind I had, now after 25 years, that I'm a multi-millionaire, that a huge house. Do I find myself more satisfied now than what I was then? See, this is how we have to really, if you want to write a balance sheet of the life, the balance sheet can be written in one way as to what I had 25 years ago and what I have now, one way, or what I was 25 years ago and what I am now. What was my level of satisfaction at that time and what is my level of satisfaction now, that really is a mark of progress. So whereas I may have progressed in many dimensions in terms of the external, what I have, as far as what I am is concerned, am I today a more contented person, a more satisfied person, a less demanding person, a less needy person, a less dependent person, a more free person, or I'm as demanding as I was before. Formerly I just demanded a promotion, please give me $25 more. And today I want $25 million more. But the thing is, as I said, how do we write the balance sheet of our life? The contemplative person starts thinking this way, that have I made any progress in my life in terms of self-satisfaction? Not only that, but whatever I have potentially there before me, whatever I can potentially achieve in my life in future, will all of them be capable of giving me any more satisfaction than I have? Meaning that, have all these achievements gained the capability of giving a satisfaction? He realizes that they cannot. With Rajas, oh, I want this, this will give me, that's a Rajoguna. Sattva-guna realizes that what has happened and what can happen. Nastya kritah kritena. He realizes that I cannot be satisfied in my life with any limited gain, that all the gains so far have been limited, and whatever I can gain in future also is going to be limited. A limited thing, how many it is, cannot give me any sustained satisfaction. Meaning that the manner in which I am actually living my life or managing my life, there is something basically not right about it. Then I realize that what I am seeking is limitless. What I am seeking is completeness. Everything is limited, nothing can give me limitless, which I have discovered from myself. And therefore, a desire for knowledge arises in him when mind is sattvic. Nitya vastu viveka, a discrimination between what is permanent and impermanent, that happens. that I am a seeker of what is nitya or permanent, and therefore I have nothing to do with the impermanent thing. That creates vairagya, dispassion. Because free from all these false attachments and attractions and aversions, mind becomes calm, shama, dama, uparama. All these qualities are created, and the desire for knowledge becomes a mature desire for knowledge. Not just a fleeting desire, oh, it's nice to know, but it's good, but mature, that this is all I want and nothing else. Then there is a total commitment. Tad vijnanartham sugurumeva vigachet samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Then, for that knowledge, he approaches the teacher and takes refuge at the feet of the teacher, becomes dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. This is what sattva guna does. When the mind is sattvic, this is what happens. Shraddha arises in you, bhakti, devotion arises in you, a desire for knowledge arises in you. All priorities change. What attracted me earlier does not attract me anymore, and now my things are already changed. So as the mind gets transformed, what is important to me also gets transformed. What formerly attracted me, I realize that limitation no more attracts me. Sattva. Mind becomes contemplative, analytical. Then what happens when rajas is predominant? Next verse tells us. लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ. I guess each one of you knows that these books are available free at the counter where all these verses are, so you can join me in reciting. So that's why they have prepared it with all this great trouble. Very beautiful handout is there. So all of you are welcome to have it. Of course, bring it back tomorrow. If you're not coming tomorrow, return it, whatever. Rajasyetani jayante vivruddhe bharatarshava. Hey Bharatarshava, again Lord Krishna addresses Arjuna. Bharatarshava. Word is made up of two words, Bharata and Rushabha. Rushabha means what? Rushabha means actually a bull. But it means the bull stands out in the crowd of the cows, so this person stands out foremost. So Arjuna is a descendant of the king Bharata, or foremost among the descendants of Bharata. When rajas becomes predominant, lobha, greed. What is greed? Greed is, even though my desire is satisfied, I am not satisfied. My desire gets satisfied. I wanted something, I get it. So desire is satisfied, but I am not satisfied. So what happens? Another desire for satisfaction. That desire gets satisfied, but I am not satisfied. That's interesting. The fulfillment of desire is meant to give me satisfaction. The reason why I strive to fulfill my desires is so that I can get satisfaction. But lobha is there, greed is there. Who is a greedy person? Even though the desire is satisfied, he is not satisfied. Greed is characterized by an internal strong dissatisfaction. That nothing seems to satisfy me. More I get, more I want. So greed is like fire. And an attempt to satisfy greed is like trying to put out the fire by pouring butter into the fire. As you put butter into fire, fire becomes more flagrant. Similarly also, more you try to satisfy your greed, more demanding the mind becomes. This is called rajas. With rajas, you have a strong sense of insufficiency or dissatisfaction within yourself, and mind wants more and more and more. Therefore, pravritti, that will create all kinds of pravritti, all kinds of activities. Arambha karmanam, also undertaking a variety of very difficult projects. He builds a house, a palatial house, not an ordinary house. Some 10, 12 bedrooms are there and 1500 bathrooms are there and all kinds of things. Huge thing. That kind of work he undertakes. Not an ordinary car, a huge car. So, karamam ashamaha spruha, longing for everything. So in New York City, there is this Fifth Avenue and there are huge stores are there with all glass front stores are there, so you can see what's in there. So in the lunch hour, all these people walk, ladies, everybody walks in. Oh, that's a new thing. Let me see. I want it. That looks like good. I want it. Meaning that a craving in general for everything. Everything seems to attract them. I want this also, that also, that also, this also. Spruha. And so, mind is totally restless. Ashamaha, restlessness of the mind. Inner dissatisfaction. Total activity. I finished this, now I want this one. Finish that, something else. Finish this, something else. One project after the other. Invested this here, that business there, there is this goes on. There is nothing wrong with doing business, nothing wrong with having money, nothing wrong with anything. It is my relationship with these things. So Vedanta is no problem with action. But you are driven by an action. You are a slave of action. Now that's where the problem is. I cannot do without action. That's where the problem is. Action is not a problem. I'm a workaholic. I cannot do without work. I cannot do without that. I cannot. This was lobha. This was rajasness. I can't do without this. Can't do without that. Can't do without this. Cannot do without this action. Restlessness of the mind. If these fellows go to vacation, they will have planned vacation. What kind? He wants to see everything that is around there. So wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning. At home he wakes up at 6 o'clock. Vacation at 4:30 he wakes up. Because he has to cover every place that is there. So next day he has to go somewhere else and cover all places. He comes home exhausted. Because you want everything. Otherwise you feel, I think vacation is not successful. Rajasyetani jayante vivruddhe bhartarshava. So this is the situation of rajas. A strong sense of inner dissatisfaction. A strong dissatisfaction with the own self. It is dissatisfaction with myself that creates dissatisfaction with everything around. Constantly dissatisfied with myself, constantly complaining about myself, and therefore this fellow keeps on complaining about everything. My complaints towards the world it arises from my complaints about myself. My complaint, dissatisfaction, is all due to my dissatisfaction within myself. All the conflicts outside are the result of the conflicts that one experiences one's own self. And regardless of what you do outside, that will not solve it because the problem is inside. So we keep on helping this person. Okay, you want this? Have it better, have this. You want this? Have it. But then he is restless. He's like the child has a problem with the stomach and you think child is hungry, so you feed. And more problem. You give food, more problem. In fact, the very attempt to solve the problem creates more problems. This is human life, rajas. So today's people are all predominant in rajas. And they go get us. I want this, I want that, I want this. Person makes restless, miserable, as he's being chased by some kind of a ghost. He wakes up in the morning and he's running after one thing to the other, from one thing to the other. Somebody is chasing him. Some unseen ghost is chasing him. But his own mind is chasing him. That is the rajas. What happens when there is tamas? Next verse says, aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivruddhe kuru nandana. Tamasi vivruddhe kuru nandana etani jayante. When tamas becomes predominant, then here Arjuna, you will find this kind of things in your mind. So, Lord Krishna describes the states of mind. First, to recognize what is right now, what is the nature of my mind. Whether right now my mind is sattvic, whether right now my mind is rajasic, or whether my mind is tamasic. Aprakasha is what? Aprakasha, apravritti. Prakasha means knowledge. Aprakasha. When the mind is tamasic, such things just don't enter. When these words are uttered, they should create, in fact, the meaning in your mind. These words, when they are heard by you, then they should actually create meaning and that understanding in your mind. That's the purpose of these words. The words fall in the ears, they go into mind, create no meaning. No meaning. Mind has become so dull that what is understandable cannot be understood. What is presented to us may be very clear, but the mind has no capacity to understand at all. So when the mind becomes tamasic, our understanding is not there. Aprakasha. Prakasha means knowledge. Knowledge does not arise. Even when all the samagri or all the necessities of knowledge are there. You are hearing. Your mind is there. You know the language. You know the subject matter. But mind is tamasic. What did Swamiji say? I don't know. What did Swamiji, what story? I don't know. Because I was there, and listening also, but then it did not register at all in my mind. Tamas. Apravritti. So, when all the necessary ingredients for knowledge are there, still knowledge does not take place. All the ingredients of action are there, action doesn't take place. You have to go to work. Wake up. So that's where it starts. The tamas. Alarm rings, 5 o'clock, I'll wake up. 6 o'clock, wake up. 7 o'clock, I think I'll call in sick today. Examination is coming, 12th, very, very critical examination. As the examination comes nearer, you become more and more nervous. Then you go to your father, Dad, this year I'm taking a drop. Aprakasha. Apravritti, what are you doing? He's in his whole room. The father thinks he's reading, he's watching TV. His mind is not available to study at all. Tamas. And therefore, when all the ingredients of action are there, you know what is to be done. Somebody tells you, hey, you have to do this, and this is the way to do. Everything is told you, and you know what is to be done and how it can be done, and you are capable of doing it also. But something within you simply drags you down and you just cannot do it. Like Arjuna. He has all the ingredients of fighting this battle. It's there already with his bow and arrow and everything, and the bow slipped away and the arrow, I can't stand and I'm feeling fever. And tamas. Pravritti, hey, you to fight. Kyukastva kashmale vishame. Hey, Arjuna, what happened in the battlefield? You're behaving like this? Now you're saying that you don't want to fight this battle? You should have said this before coming to the battlefield. What is the reason? This is the wrong place to say this. Lord Krishna tried to whip him up from tamas to rajas. Nothing. How can I fight with Bhishma? How can I fight with Drona? How can I do that? Rather than fighting and killing them, I think it's better that I will become, I'll beg my food. That's not behove of you. But nothing could affect him. Lord Krishna tried to taunt him. Nothing would affect him. Tamas. Aprakasha, apravriti, pramadaha, or doing something quite different from what we described just now, inadvertence, mohevacha, delusion, understanding things wrongly. So, yaya adharmam dharmitya manyate tamasavruta sarvartham vipiritam sya buddhista partha tamasi. When buddhi becomes tamasi, then everything is understood wrongly. What is right is understood wrong. What is wrong is understood right. So God will always justify. He deserves to be killed. This is what is done to India, he deserves to be killed. That's what he thinks. His mind, he believes. Sarvartha and viparitam. What is adharma? He thinks this is dharma. All those fellows are shooting adharma. The whole world takes it as adharma. He thinks this is a dharma. They are extreme examples. What I am saying is with tamas, all understanding is distorted. What is wrong appears to be right. What is right appears to be wrong. All conclusions are wrong. All actions we perform are wrong. Tamas, ignorance, avaranam, slothfulness, sleepiness. So these are the three moods of the mind. Sattvic mood, rajasic mood, tamasic mood. So this Lord Krishna described. So that we understand our own mind and we would know what to do. The means are also described there in Bhagavad Gita. We will continue tomorrow evening. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.